Audio check, ladies and gentlemen. Audio check. Good afternoon, everybody. motorcade time in Washington, D.C., but it's DYOR time here. I don't even know where I am. I was about to say Chicago, but I am not in Chicago. Anyway, good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever it is in the world you're coming to us from, everybody. Welcome to DYOR Live here on the DYOR Media Network. My name is Tom, otherwise known as Striking, here in the digital media universe. So glad to be hosting another episode of this great show we call DYOR Live. It says it right here. And who am I hosting it with? I'm hosting it with Mr. Pedro Garcia, the crypto chart analyst right here, the man with his head cut off.
There we go. It's probably better.
Lots going on here today, April 28th. We haven't been on in the air in a while. I've been in class again. Pretty difficult class for me. Takes up a lot of time, but it's teaching me all the things that I haven't known about in a long time or ever regarding commodities trading, something that I am passionate about once again in my life here. But it's April 28th, 2026. The king is in town. The king didn't come here to Canada. He said, "No, I'm your king, but I'm going to the U.S." Flew to the U.S., meeting with Donald Trump, settling all kinds of policy, planning on how to take over the world, all that type of stuff. Big news. I love pomp and circumstance. For some reason, some people are like, we kicked the king out 250 years ago. He shouldn't come. Well, we got to celebrate our special relationship that we have with the United Kingdom and the United States. Bitcoin. You can see the price up here, 76,000. It's hanging out up there. Pedro and I think it is going a little bit higher first, going up into the 80s. Pedro will get into that in a minute before coming back down and going all the way to about $4. Okay, that might be a little bit of an exaggeration here. What else I got on the list? Crude oil pushing $100 again. Not good for the inflation hawks out there. I'm sure we're going to be seeing, Pedro, news on upcoming interest rate increases instead of decreases because of the war going on, pushing up the price of oil, and thus the supply chain costs finally catching up with the inflation numbers. Also, Pedro, big announcement. The White House says there's a big announcement coming about Bitcoin and the Bitcoin Reserve Fund. They haven't said what it is. They just said there's going to be a big announcement. However, we also have the problem that the Senate still hasn't passed its version of the Clarity Bill, and doesn't look like there's any chance it's going to. Another Bitcoin Reserve Bill that specifically authorizes the U.S. government to create a Bitcoin reserve is back in committee to get reworked also. So I have a feeling, Pedro, we're going to hear a little bit about what that bill is coming out of committee along with the announcement. Because I don't believe they have to wait for the Clarity Act for it, for the Bitcoin reserve. But, and as always, Trump says, I can just do it. But this time they're having Congress actually pass the law saying you're specifically authorized to create a Bitcoin reserve. And also note, the Treasury Department, while run by Scott Bessent, is all on board for this. They take a long time to change their policies and stuff like that. And the Treasury Department is currently also in charge of FinCEN and all those groups that have just really screwed us on the anti-money laundering world. Now, the new rules, basically you have to report everything that you ever do and pay to the IRS now. Which really sucks, and that's not the point of our government at all. And we'll need to address that in future legislation to knock that shit off. Anyway, lots to talk about today. Pedro, what's going on in the markets right now? What's important in Bitcoin, and where is it going?
That is a great question, and I think there are multiple views that we could have, but my view typically is going to be on point because nobody is as smart as the guy who agrees with you. Tom Bailu, take that one from us. But we took that from who is it? Chris
Alexander, the crypto.
Chris Alexander. Yes. Just like you took the edutainment without shouting us out, and I am going to be petty over that. Yes, I am. Anyways, okay. So let's go ahead and check this out because I think it's really important. Be able to see what we're looking at and how it is moving. So one of the things I always bring up, right, is that we want to look at the larger time frame, what's actually happening. We're coming up to what period, Tom? We're coming into the month.
End of the month. It's the end of the month, Pedro.
Nice. And very good point. Very astute of you to point out that it's the end of the month, because that means then we want to check out what's actually happening with the month. right? So we talked about a few things. We talked about what the market could do in relationship to how its price movement. And most importantly, where are the orders sitting at and what are they trying to take for those orders, okay, when they take them? Or where are they trying to take price in regards to taking those orders, okay? And so that's why you saw me tap this at the beginning of the month. We had the bottom area right here, which was that 65,000. And at the top, we actually had two places. We actually had a supply area at that 77,000 to that 75,000, and then at that 80,000 area. And you can see that we came up to these levels here because this is the monthly move, right? You can see that real close here, that this is where it would go. And we said there's more orders sitting up at these higher levels. So we've talked about how I expected how the year was going to happen. Now, because it's a larger time frame view, we want to look at the market as a larger time frame view because we're coming into the next month, right? And the next month goes to quarterly, and that quarterly goes to a yearly, right? And so you can see here at the beginning of the year, you can be there for a moment, right? Remember at the beginning of the year, we talked about how we were going up, and I said, I can't trust this push up, right?
Oh yeah, I remember this conversation.
Yep. And I was talking about this 8-period moving average going, look, it's going up first. I can't get in with it. And everybody's saying to the moon. And I go, no, we want to see it go down at the beginning of the year to see it push up towards the end of the year. And so now this is exactly, and we talked, there's a very famous person that I actually spoke with who actually communicates with a lot of people in Washington, which is really interesting. And he said, what are your thoughts on BTC? And I said, it's going to go up. It's going to hit that 100,000 area potentially, but we're going to see a sell off and most likely hit that 70,000 to 65, 60,000. I even talked about that 50,000 area, right? I go, we should see it bounce off from here and then see it come down, bounce, and then see it come down into this area. And towards the end of the quarter, last quarter, we would see a rebound. That's what I was looking for the last month, right? And then see it go up. And that's what we saw at the end of the last month, right? This baby right here, right? We can see that level coming in where we saw the first 3 months, or right, which is right here. The first 3 months come in, push up, go down, and then it ends it, right, in March right here. Then what I talked about is now I'm expecting it to go up, but in that going up period, I expect to see it kind of move in a way where it's taking orders for it to move up. So we can see here that as it comes down into this area, we are looking for an area of orders. And so as the end of the month, we saw it come up, tap up in the orders. Now taking these orders, there's nothing there, so we can push through it into next month. Okay, because we've already tapped into the order sitting right here. We literally came up to this area, which we've had for almost 3 months now, right? And so I said it's going to come tap this area here and then see a bit of a sell-off, but I expect to be a stronger buy than a sell. And so it's kind of like what we're seeing here right now. Now, the part that does dishearten me is the fact that we have less volume, right? I want to see more volume come into this. I want to see a volume bump, to quote my good friend Chris Koopman on X. Shout out to you. Love that guy. I love him like a sore thumb. That taught me how to hit a hammer straight. Thank you, my friend. And so in the same sense, he talks about you need a volume bump. And that volume bump lets you know if it's going to continue. You like how I said that? That's actually pretty quick. But long story short, you can see this, what happened. We came and hit. Now we're pulling back just a little. And so this is what I expect for the rest of next month. I want to see this come down. Now this is a two-part area. If we see this open and we see it come down first, I then expect to see this baby come into that 65,000 area again, and then to see it push back up, come and test this 84,000 area is what I'm looking at. Dude, I draw way too many arrows and circles. It's just like, I'm gonna eat a burrito here real quick. Sorry.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's our guy Pedro there for you. He gets a little crazy with some things. drawing lines on the screen that look like penises, and then following it up with a giant burrito because it reminds him of that.
Why are you telling me too bad? I'm gonna go over and cry, man. Anyways, so its key point is this: is next month. We want to see this baby kind of open up, go up a little, and then come down, pull these orders, and then to see it come back up, and we want to see it hit. Now, that's the part that I want. It may do this, where it opens up, goes up, pulls orders, right here, comes down, plays with too many people's hearts, okay? And then they get all discouraged, thinking, oh man, they took our money and now they're gonna drop it down. I sound like a lot of those Moon Boys. And then from there, after they bring it down, they sell their positions, and then they go up again to take their money again. I hope they make it easy on the guys and don't take their money, but most likely the second is what will most likely happen. So shout out to all you Moon Boys. Good luck. Hopefully you handle this well. Out of that, that's love from me to you guys. So that's in a nutshell. And what does that look like on the weekly chart? It looks something like this. Boom, we're coming down here. We're most likely going to tap this area right here. You see how they're setting up? We don't have a lot of demand wicks on this week. So you can see here, they're setting it up for next month for it to go right up a little, then come down, take all these orders, and then go up. And if we look at it on the daily chart, okay, this daily chart's looking mighty, mighty, mighty hot, right? And I mean, like Big Booty Becky. Let's go.
Big Booty Becky.
Becky. Yes, yes, yes. And so you can see here that we have a bottom, another bottom, see another bottom, and then we see a high, a higher high, and now a triple high, higher high, which is good, which shows what? A pattern. And patterns is something that people look for. And you can see here, it's going to make, again, we have a lot of our demand wicks on the daily sitting right here. Look at these demand wicks. Look at these guys with the orders, all these liquidity areas. So it's setting up for it to go, boop, take the orders, come back down, tap our hair for the orders, and then we see it come back up. And so it's already looking that way. It's looked like what it wants to do. And so all the people who are paying attention here, y'all gonna kill it and learn a lot here. So let's go. So that's in a nutshell.
That was more than a nutshell, Pedro. That was a thorough dissertation on what's going on with Bitcoin. And I'll summarize it. It's gonna go one direction, then it's gonna go the other direction, and then it'll take everyone's money, and then it'll go the other direction and take out everyone's money again, and then go the other way and do it again.
Yes, yes, yes.
The trick is knowing when to get in and out of those taking all your money or things. And to be honest, the institutions and the big companies and that trade this and the market makers are looking forward. That's their job, to take our money. Their job is to take not just our money, but their other market makers' money too, and come out on top at the end of the year for earnings. And so we jest about taking our money, but they take everyone's money. And what they try to do is get people, the regular people, to FOMO in like crazy, to show some volume and all that, get the market to move, and then they all say, our evil plan has come together, and now you are exit liquidity for us. But that's what they need on every trade. Every trade needs an exit. Literally every trade needs an opposite side to it. And so when we say you're just the exit liquidity, really every trade you make is someone else's exit, especially in your trading futures, that type of stuff. But the market moves a lot and goes up and down to those places where Pedro points out. Got to be careful if you are getting in when he's telling you to get out, because there's a good chance that you are going to get wrecked. Unless you listen to us. I know we haven't been on enough to reinforce this. We used to be 5 times a week, all day, reinforcing this. People would call us, I'd say, we took your advice, took my wife, made tons of money, and took my wife on a trip in a 15-day cruise or whatever the hell that was. Something like that.
But it's not my advice. This is my opinion.
Good point. It's your uneducated opinion. If you actually listen to Pedro, you lose all your money on it, so nobody listen to us anyway. In fact, just put us on mute.
We are just nothing but edutainment. But if you go back and look at, I don't even understand how we have such a good call rate. I mean, just saying, it's almost like I know what I'm doing. But I mean, I don't. And again, this is not advice, but just my opinion of what potentially, and you know what? Opinions are like farts. 99% of the time they stink, and within 10 minutes, you forget about them. Forget about it. So, just saying, hey, what do I know?
All right, I'll run the banner. This is an education video, not financial advice. Nothing herein has been reviewed or approved by any competent authority whatsoever. Nothing that Pedro and I say are the official opinions that anybody here at DYOR Media Network or the burrito company that Pedro is keeping in business. But I'm guessing that was homemade anyway, so.
Well, absolutely.
And now I'm hungry. I had breakfast, but I didn't have lunch. The missus has been out of town, Pedro.
Oh my God.
And
who's cooking?
I'll tell you who's cooking. The bar down the street. I gotta tell you, Pedro,
it'd be a mess, bro, without her.
It's been so epic because the Mrs. Striking and I work generally in the same room all together all the time. She has an office, doesn't go to it much, so we're here, and we get in each other's way. And while I miss her as the old wife there, a couple of days.
I was going to say ball and chain.
No, a couple of days of not having to schedule calls and around the show and around this and that, so we're not talking at the same time, is really nice. But what's not nice about it is that the refrigerator is bare as a bone, as it is when I've always lived by myself. I've never been a packed refrigerator guy. I've been, oh, what's up? Oh, let's go to the bar. I gotta tell you, I had an Irish stew the other day. Delicious. I had a spicy chicken wrap what usually you get a chicken wrap, it's like blah, blah, just bland food and stuff like that. It was like, oh, hey, this is delicious. And I've been doing, essentially what I've been doing is acting like a certain teacher we know. And having a beer at the end of the day. Yep. And so I'll text the missus and be like, she's like, what's up? I'm like, oh, I'm getting something to eat and having a beer. She's like, you've been to the bar 3 times in 3 days. And I'm like, yep, yes I have, and it's been awesome. I know people at the bar. I know the bartenders. I know like this couple that comes in. They said, oh, you got to go to this other bar. There's a guy singing at 9:00. He's really good. And sure enough, I go. I'm like, hey, can you play some Pink Floyd? He's like, yeah. Rips off a couple Pink Floyd songs. I'm like, this is great.
While the cat is out and about.
Yeah. And these are just the local little Irish pubs here. There's not a lot going on with them. One of them's pretty popular because it's a big outdoor area, and it was nice the other day, but I didn't go in the outdoor area. I sat at the bar and watched the hockey games. Thought I'd add that for a little color commentary into the show here today. Pedro, let's pivot over to gold. Gold, as we talk more and more about commodities coming up here, because my interests are changing. I also feel that our larger audience that would want to pay attention to us has a little bit of interest in the commodities aspect of it. Our traditional audience, I hope they want to up their game also in trading. And so as we talk more, ultimately we'll be talking a lot more about commodities, especially as my trading comes online. Gold has been fairly important lately. I just realized the other day that gold has outperformed the S&P 500 for the past couple of years. In aggregate, obviously, it outperformed everything in the past 6 months. But gold's been doing really well. All this talk of de-dollarization, all this talk of BRICS, all this talk of countries wanting to repatriate their gold back to their home country instead of letting the U.S. hold on to it. Along with just general demand issues from the supply chain. really caused the price to start creeping up quicker than it has been over the past the history of gold. And then we saw at the end of last year, actually most of last year, but the last 6 months of last year, gold really started outperforming everything. Then its pullback came, I don't know what it was in February, pulled back from its highs, end of January, beginning of February. And now we're kind of in this zone of what's it going to do? Is it going to sell off because a lot of that was speculation, and so we could bring it back down into the 3,000s? Is the global demand for gold going to pull it up? Pedro, a big deal was made about France buying bazillions and billions of dollars worth of gold. But most people missed the other half of the story, as they had a lot of gold in the Federal Reserve in New York. And they said, all right, we want to repatriate it back to Paris. And so everyone's thinking, ooh, I'm going to rob that shit, you know? But, you know, it's gold. It's a commodity. So they didn't move anything. They just sold the gold in New York and bought in Paris. And in fact, doing so made them realize a many $billion gain on the gold too. But anyway, so they didn't have to ship anything. They just sold this on this side, bought it on the other side. But many people thought that was, you know, France moving along the line of, even to the point of saying not going to be part of the euro. We're going to have a gold-backed franc. Obviously not, because they missed the other half of the story about France selling its gold in New York and buying it there. But the point is that there is a lot of talk about nations and gold and currencies turning to gold, all this type of stuff, which, if true, would drive the price through the roof. Again, it's not doing that. It's hanging out here at 46,000. You still got Bitcoin up there, but it's hanging out at I don't even know what the price is. Okay. 45.85 today. I guess that's a spot price, I guess. I don't know what the futures price is.
Oh no, that's not good. Why is this doing that? What thing when you... Is it that one? Oh, that's not it. Yep, there we go. There we go. That was easy. Easy. Alrighty. What's up, Connect Me One? How are you, buddy? Did I lose you, my friend?
I'm still here.
Oh, okay. Yep. All right. I gotta stop saying that. Yep. I've had now a couple people tell me, like, that's kind of weird. I'm like, I don't know how to do it. And then I remember, like, having a friend of mine. She was like, I think it's cute. And I was like, but it sounds weird. And she's like, yeah, but it's kind of like you. Like, when I know somebody's been hanging out with you, when they start to say, yep. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. And so, anyhow, let's talk a little about this guy that we call gold. Now, what are your thoughts on us continuing down, potentially back to that 4,100, my friend?
Well, that was the lead up to the question I had was if all of this talk, well, we're talking about it from the fundamental point of view before we go to the chart view. If all of the talk about gold this, gold that, nations this, nations that, buying this, Saudis selling, French buying, Indonesians doing this, Canadians doing that, all that type of stuff. If any of that was true or going on currently, then the price would see an incredible push upward. And I don't see that. I don't see that incredible push upward from countries buying, BRICS nations hoarding gold, that type of stuff. You hear stories about it, and people all over the internet trolls of pushing that messaging out there by somebody. But I think really we saw the speculation end from the 5,000 and 5,600 range, and it's coming back down. Unless the fundamentals change and nations really start buying and that type of stuff, we're not going to see a $10,000 gold for a while. In fact, frankly, I think that lower $4,000 level is pretty good too. I think you've got, I can't read your screen, 3,500 in there, 3,400?
Yep.
3,600?
3,600, 36 and 30.
For you uninitiated people, the green lines here on Pedro's chart are lines that we look at now, and then like in 2 months, we always come back and go, hey, look, it hit the price hit our line. That's the general consensus of what happens.
It seems like hokey pocus, the hokey pokey and hocus pocus together. That's another one we need to call ourselves, hokey pocus. Or we can put that on our merch that we sooner or later will have. Write that down.
I'll write it down again.
I feel like I sound like a Zoolander. No. What was it? The one that the guy who is the leader, or not the leader, but he's the major investor of that new mobile cell phone.
Ryan.
Ryan, what's his name? Not Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
Is that Ryan Reynolds? Yeah, Ryan Reynolds. Yeah.
Canadian.
One of the nicest guys in Hollywood, by the way. I hear. Really nice guy. Really.
Until your girlfriend has to do a nude scene with another actor, and then apparently he's not such a nice guy.
Oh, well, it's not his girlfriend, it's his wife, right?
Oh yeah, it was his wife.
Like, there's a big difference though. Like, your girlfriend, that's his wife. Like, I'm just saying, I mean, would you be okay with it?
Hey, if she's pulling in a paycheck for like $5 million, I'd be like, I'll go to the bar then.
No. What?
I'll be at the catering cart.
No, I will.
It's not porn. It's not an actual. It's not an actual love scene. It's a movie one where it's.
He's putting his hands on her breast. I'm sorry. No. Call me a dick. I'm not possessive.
$5 million.
I don't care.
$10 million.
It's my wife.
$10 million.
You ain't not gonna touch my wife. No, I'm not gonna be cool with it. I'm sorry. I can't. I'm not possessive, but I'm not like.
20 million?
Dude,
Tom
there's
Cruise
no
money.
amount of money. You could pay me $1 trillion. I would not care. I do not care.
$1 trillion.
That's my wife.
You'd be getting a new wife.
That's not how I see it, man. I'm like, that's my wife. Like that. Like no. Like the only person who can touch you like that is me. And vice versa. I'm not gonna let no woman touch me like that. Like ever. Like I check this out. I've been side note. Pedro, what'd you call it? Pedro's postulates?
Pedro's postulations.
I was in a club and with a friend of mine, we're drinking a beer. This girl, beautiful girl. She was a cop coming from California. Absolutely gorgeous. I mean, she was absolutely gorgeous. But I was dating a girl. And like for me, like it's not hard to like, it's just not hard to woo a woman in essence. Yeah, like, right. It's fun for me, whatever. The reason why I say this is she comes over, we start hanging out, boom. She's like, let's all hang out. And I was like, nah, I'm good. She's like, what do you mean? Like, what's up? You know, she's like, look at me. I'm like, yeah, okay. I got a girl. I chose to be with her. She's mine. I'm hers. No, like, I'm just not gonna do that. Like, it's like not even my psyche to even think about it, because it's like, I don't know. I'm just kind of built that way where I just can't.
Well, that's the way you're supposed to do it, according to our society.
You know?
Not if you live in Utah, though. That's all different over there.
It's funny.
Or in certain countries in another part of the world where I won't actually focus on them, but they're like, nah, there's not enough men here, so the women men can have more than one. How about this? How much would it take? You said no amount of money, but I'll change it up just a little bit.
Okay.
Instead of this woman at the bar putting her hands on you and your wife getting pissed, I grab
It's
your
not about
boobies.
my wife's getting pissed.
What if it's
It's
me?
not about getting talking about you. You're not gonna come out to me sexually, dude. Like there's no like.
The viewer count's really low today, so I'm getting a little crazy.
It's all right. It's all right. It's all right. But what I'm saying though is this. Speaking about gold. Okay. This went off such a tangent, and that's my bad. Completely my bad. I went off on Pedro's postulates over here. I'm just saying there is no way or ever I'm going to be okay with just no money. And there's just no amount of money. I don't care. Like, I do not. Like that whole entire thing, even as a kid, when I saw that movie, Indecent Proposal, like there's no, I was like, no, babe, like we'll figure it out. I'm not like, even like, no, you're like, no, I'm good. I'll work twice as hard to make sure. If that's what you want, babe, I'll make sure that I work twice, 3 times as hard and figure it out. But I'm not going to share you. Just I'm not the type, and nor am I going to ever share myself with somebody else that like, just, I don't know. It's not the way.
2 weeks later, all of a sudden she rolls in a new Ferrari, and you're like, honey, where'd you get the money for that? I don't know.
Now that's a different story though. That's a completely different story though. That's when I go, all right, we gotta go. Sorry. You're amazing. I love you, but we have different value systems than that, and looks like we're gonna get in a divorce.
I got to stop this timer here. It's all right, Pedro. I've got a couple of divorces under my belt. I can guide you. Oh, welcome everybody watching this show here today on X. Thanks for joining us. Really appreciate it. Remember, on X, you can always right-click on it or long press on it, whatever your thing is, and open a separate window to keep us on while you doom scroll on the crapper. Because you want to keep hearing Pedro and I's voice when you're on the crapper. My beard is turning.
Oh, yeah. Doom, 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 doom. Doom, doom, doom.
All right, so let's get back to business here. Gold,
Let's
we
go to
think
gold.
it's coming down. We think
Yes,
it's coming down. Why, Pedro? Why, and where's it going?
Well, one, because you can see how the volume has been dying out. Remember how we were up in these levels here, and then all of a sudden we just dropped? And I pointed out this area here because we saw it kind of go, and I said, there's no way it's going to be able to continue. This is why we drew this supply area right here, which then we saw it come down to here. Actually, I think it was right here is when I did it, is what I was looking at. And boom, we saw it come down to this area. Then we saw it sell off, right? And then in the same essence, right, like we would expect if down here, if we were going to see it continue up, we would then see it really kind of push off here with higher volume on a buy. You can see how this buyer volume has dropped off. So now that's why I'm expecting us to come down where more buyers are sitting. So that 38.44 area to the 36.80 area, it's an area that I'm expecting us to see come and tap and see if the buyers step in. Now, am I expecting to go to zero? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. In these situations, I think we'll see a capitulation where they just stop a lot of people out and then they take it back up again. I mean, under the Trumpian mindset, there's a lot of taco trades. There are this man. I just say this, and this very much frustrates me. It seems like this, that he is friends with, the banks or something like that, because it's like I can literally see the market turning over. And I took a trade on Thursday that literally was like, oh, the market's turning over, and it just dropped through the roof, right? And I was just like, it was like, like right in these levels, and it was like, boom, and that's where I'm like. Actually, it should be dropped through the floor, but it just exactly dropped through. So this is why
I just let you go with that one.
Yeah, I just felt like, wait, that didn't make sense. But in the same sense, I would expect this. Like there is this communication happening now, like even more so than ever before. That I'm watching the markets turn in relationship to what Trump is doing, and it's happening before he makes a statement on True Social. it happens before XYZ happens with, wars or bombings. And it's just like, dude, this is like, it's kind of sad. But
the
at the same
information's leaking out before the tweet happens, for sure. You know what? This is what I'm gonna do, Pedro. I'm gonna try and correlate. You know how my sound of my computer, I was talking about my computer fans, can gauge the market, because I have so many charts open that when the market starts moving, they're updating with a lot more information. And so it kicks the GPU up to the next level. The fans come on. Blah 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 blah. I'm gonna see if I can graph that, which I know I can. I just gotta graph it and see if I can mark the times and see if the fans start changing a few seconds before Trump's tweet goes out. See if I can correlate it that way. You're on mute.
It's always about an hour.
About an hour.
You see it start to top off first, right? That they put in a position where they're going to push through it, right? So like, for example, you can see here, like this is the 1 hour. So we're going to use everything that happened we had a bunch of stuff happen yesterday with Trump, right? So you can see they pushed it up. He starts speaking. So this is a couple hours here. And then he drops the bomb, basically some of the stuff that he said about Iran. All of a sudden we see the market on gold drop, right? So it happens this way. It always happens this way. Whereas he'll speak and they realize what he's doing. And then on this hour, when he delivers the message, but they've already put in the actual candle itself. They've already put the seller candle in, and you can see here, as they were going up, they weren't putting any demand wicks. Like here, they're putting demand wicks. Here, they put demand wicks, right? So they're going through, they're coming down. Whereas right here, there isn't, right? They're already gauging they were going to push it back up in that evening. Whereas here, right, as they were pushing it up, they knew that they weren't going to do any of that. So they just let it drop. Right, there's no real supply here. It's all being absorbed, or excuse me, demand here. It's all being absorbed. So now we're watching it sell off into these lower levels. On the back end, that 45.80 area here is where it hit a liquidity area, not a demand area, but a liquidity area where there's orders sitting there. So you see them coming out, picking up the orders right here where the liquidity is, and now they're pushing them back up. And so it's just one of those things that when I look at the markets, I see it as like a whole and what it's actually doing. And I think it's really important to see that they want to, as they're building this position, and they're going to bring it back up, right? Like I can guarantee that. But while they're bringing it down, they want to put orders in so that they can bring it down lower and then make money as they're really pushing up. So, and the fact is that they're putting buys in at lower levels. Or lower volume levels, right? Even though we're going up here, they're putting less buyers in for gold. And many of you guys have seen me do this with Bitcoin, right? Where I'm like, I can't trust it. I can't trust it. Sound like Yosemite Sam over here. But at the same time, that rascally rabbit, they're showing their hand here, right? Over the long haul. So that's why I'm expecting it to come down lower into these levels here. Like that's what I'm just assuming, and most likely it's going to happen. Now, are there going to be liquidity areas? Absolutely, right? Hit the little areas you see that I mark on the baby blue lines here, right? Those are liquidity areas that you can take part in as the market comes and hits, right? And I've showed many times how to take part and get in on your position, whether it's going to be a reverse position, but it might turn around for a few hours, right? We know that the market is down here for the next week or two potentially, and so if the market pulls back up or pulls down into demand or supply or orders, that there's going to be a bit of a balance there, so you can take part in that, right? We know right here, which I tell everyone, you guys go check out ICT trading liquidity points or liquidity areas, right? You can see right here, there's a liquidity area right here for for a lot, for this market, right? You can see here, this is going to be a supply or a sell area, right? If they pull back, you're going to see a pullback here, and in that pullback, whether it's a half a day or potentially a couple days, right? It's one of those things you can gauge on, right? This right here was an area first of support, and you can see the market bounced off right here and then sold off. Then this area, you have all these basically traders who are stuck, right, who were long. They want to sell out of their position, and hence that sell, right, as they push out becomes buys, right? So they buy the market and then they flip it again to the sell market as people think, oh, we're going to the moon again, and then there you go, it hits the 50-period moving average, and then we all know what happened after that.
Down, 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 down. I'd like to see it come down because I tend to do well on short trades. I tend to they happen fast, and I'm trying to get through a couple of things in the trading, Pedro, and one of which I had a discussion with our coach here today was that I was up in a trade. It took a great crude oil trade. The market just wavered a little bit, and I'm like, oh, I want to sell it and close it out and take the money. It was like a 1-to-1, and I was explaining to the coach, I was like, this is where I always have trouble because I want to sell it, and I don't trust myself that I know that the market's going to continue towards my target. And then he just walked through it. He's like, well, we're still in this time period and this and that. And he said, what you need to do instead of worrying about that is worry about finding your next trade. And so I went to go look for a trade, and then not 10 minutes later, my ear bings, bing, as my target got hit. And the trade worked out really well for me in crude oil today. And man, I can't remember why I brought that up. Had a point regarding what you were saying, and I totally lost it there. Oh well.
Talking about demand areas versus liquidity pools, and how you like to take apart in.
Oh, right. This was a short order, because I'm a short order cook. Boo. All I had to do was just wait and be patient, because the market wants to go to those areas where the orders are, and it proved like panic attack. My arms started sweating like Norm on Cheers. I was like, oh, I gotta sell, and he's like, go find something else. You've already made this trade. The trade's on and done. Either you win it or you lose it. And sure enough, I won it. It's a very good feeling, but it did exactly what you're just talking about. It sought out the area where the orders were. That's what happened. Went right to the level, bing, went up, and then did its thing. I think the same thing happened. Oh no, on the NQ today. We'll talk about the NQ later. Get all these stories going in my head. Cut you off.
No, it's okay. It's funny because I'm actually keeping track of a lot of where we're going, which I find really interesting. That the saffron has really helped me. I'm actually really shocked. We'll see how long my body, am I going to get used to it, right? And then go back to ADD moment? Or is this actually because it's all natural? It'll help with the uptake of dopamine. And I don't know if you read that little thing I put in our chat there, but it acts like Ritalin. And Ritalin and I forget the other name. Adderall, yeah. It's like Adderall and Ritalin in the aspect of uptake in dopamine, but it's not done through a synthetic form. It's done naturally and allows your brain to be able to sit there and say, hey, chill out. You don't need a dopamine hit right now over there. So you can focus here and it feeds dopamine and the serotonin the correct way. And so it helps the neurodivergent mind to really process things and stay focused on something. So I'm really just noticing, I've actually been all day just going through, I'm tallying how many times I get distracted, and it's very few, which normally I got to sit there and force myself. So it's been really interesting. So, I mean, I might just make up I'm shocked. Everybody knows how ADD I can be. like literally start here and we just boom, boom, boom. So it's really interesting. But jumping back to what we're talking about here, gold is at one of those moments, though. It's going to be really interesting to see when the trade comes in into a lot of these quick little trades. You can take advantage of it. So as you're seeing the sell off, right? Then we start to see strong position turnaround movement. Excuse me. It's like burping your guys' ear. But as we come down into these areas, right? Like I was talking about, I want to see you get above the 8-period moving average. I want to see demand wicks as it's coming in, right? So boom, like we come in here, look at gold, right? We see it come down. Nope, doesn't look good. No demand wicks, pushes up. We're seeing more supply and demand, not enough, right? And then right here is when we see the demand wicks start to come in, we push through the 8. We come in, we see and I talk about this a lot for a lot of our viewers for these trades, right? How do they know if it's most likely going to continue? Right, you can see here it's pretty obvious. So the demand wicks coming in, we saw it come down into an area of demand wicks, and then we see it get up with a volume boost, right? Boom, this is on the 5-minute. Then it comes back down. We start to see demand wicks come in, find support on that 8-period moving average, and then we start to see it continue up. Where would our target be? Where are the orders? Where's the liquidity pool? Right here, right? This area right here, this is where it would be sitting. This is the liquidity sitting right, at least right there. So you've got at least a 3-to-1. Why can't I get that? Make that straight. Let's do it like this. Boom. Right here, this is where the liquidity is. And so you can see here, you take your position right here, which I did this trade. And then you saw it come in, boom, pop. We start to see it come in and then continues up. Here's your liquidity. Now, one of the things I always say is our stop is going to be right here. Right, it's going to be right below this low, which is the liquidity area, right? And then from there, we're going to do a 1-to-1 ratio, right, at 70%. And so this is that area where we go, and then we have a runner from 30% on up. And so you can see here, we go long right here at these levels, okay, because it's above the 8 and it's showing strength, right? Because we have a what? A volume bump. And then in that process, now we say a 1-to-1 ratio. So that's 1-to-1 ratio is going to be 80 to 88 there. So we want to get a 8-point jump. And then we move to the local low, right? Once it gets above, right? So that 1-to-1 is going to be right here. Our local low is going to be right here now. So instead of having our stop right here, it goes to here. So we go, boom, move our stop to here. Now, if the market pulls back, you're already profitable because you're above where you came in at, right? Or maybe a little bit less. You lose a little bit, but you made 70% of it at a 1-to-1 ratio. Then from there, we see it continue up to where we want to see the liquidity comes in. And any period in time, if we see it break the 8 on the 5 or 8 on the 15, this is where you can sit there and say, you know what, I want to get out based on your own personal rules that you want to play here. But again, that's how you would play that here at DYOR Media Network. How I say, hey guys, let's make sure we fill our pockets here first. And the key is we need confirmation with it being above the 8-period moving average, with demand wicks coming in while going down to an area of demand, right? Or liquidity. And then it gets above the 8-period moving average. And then we want to sit there and see a volume bump a little. And then we want to get in on that test. And then we ride it up to the next liquidity area. We have on the management of that trade, we look to get out at a 1-to-1 ratio of 70%. And then the next 30% we let run to the area of liquidity, which is sitting right up here. And that's what we teach here at we edutainment our people at these levels. So yeah, that's in a nutshell. Was that clean and clear?
Pretty clear. So, but let's back off the big picture, look at it, and then let's look at it the picture of what do you see happening. It's Monday. What do you see happening this week?
All right. So today's Tuesday, and all right.
I literally wrote on my notes Monday.
It's okay.
Even though I've known all day it's Tuesday.
It happens. We all do it. Like I tell everybody now, you need to start eating saffron.
Or I need to go to the bar sooner.
But in the same sense, you can see here that we're coming down on Monday and Tuesday, right? And so how far is it going to go down? It could potentially come down to that 44 area, right? This is the next liquidity area, right? Or we could see it find the weekly bottom right here and then see it then start to push back up. So it's kind of a hit and miss right now on gold, right? On the daily chart here. So it's like I said, I have two areas here right now for this week. It's going to be that 45, 74-ish area, and potentially to that 44 area. And then after that, it's kind of, potentially could sell off, but I don't think it's going to sell off this week. I think it'll sell off into next month, is what I talked about. First go down, then go up. So because when you look at that monthly chart here, they're just taking profit right now, right? Boom, they push it up to come down. Oh wait, that was Bitcoin. This is gold. So yeah, gold potentially could come down into next month, into this level, and this week typically maybe stay right here, but it very much could come and tap that 45, 84, or potentially that 44. So
all right, I led you down this road of Bitcoin and gold for a reason, because one of the things we learn in class, and as you know, when I verbalize things, I get better at them and understand them better, talking through them, especially with you, is where is the best opportunity? And I realize there's a million things to invest in out there. There's just in commodities, there's 33 plus a bunch of other variants and stuff like that. There's financial products out the wazoo. But if you, like the theme of the show today, I have right here on the screen. Oh, I didn't put it up. I missed my cue to put the Bitcoin or gold sign up. Boo, I suck. See, I just tried to have a nice, proper moment there, and we'll start that one over. Because now I've created it. Pedro, the theme of the show here, gold or Bitcoin? Gold or Bitcoin, what's it gonna be? And so the opportunity, the potential for profit, if you had to take one versus the other for the next full week of trading, where do you think the typical day trader would make a better investment? To focus on gold or to focus on Bitcoin? Gotcha there, didn't I? That's a good question.
I think Bitcoin is the better value, because you can get more interest off of gold, off of
No,
Bitcoin.
I'm talking about just a trade that's as long as this week. Like if you're planning out, it's Sunday, it's Monday, maybe even Tuesday afternoon, and you're planning out where do you put your, like if you were going to do a swing trade until Friday, short in gold, long in Bitcoin. You started to see Pedro's brain working now. He's like, ooh, Tom actually asked me a decent question. Yeah, but for ladies and gentlemen, for you viewers, I asked this question because when you need to invest, you can't invest in everything that you want to. If you see 9 different opportunities, here, let's a good example is in crypto land with our good friend and viewer AI Wolf Walter from the DYOR Media room, and a number of projects. He's in another project, and he's also talking about these 6 other projects that he's watching too. You can't pick them all. You have to pick your best opportunity to invest your money. You can put one, like in crypto, you can put one BNB in like 6 projects, and maybe one of them will hit. Or you can say 5 of them suck, and one of them has a 50% chance of doing it and going big, and put your money in that. And it's similar. It's similar with in the commodities trading world. And when I say commodities, I just mean the futures contracts, because Bitcoin is obviously operating on a futures contract with the Chicago Mercantile Exchange. And so you have to pick and choose where to deploy your capital. Yeah, Pedro's got the thinking hat on now. It's like, what do I choose, Bitcoin or gold? It's an important question because I had to face that question today. Even though I'm using the simulator for my school training, I don't have unlimited money.
Honestly, if I had to pick, I would pick gold. The only reason why, because it's from when you look at how far it could drop to the roof, right? Drop through the floor. You're talking one would be 1.7 or one's 10%, and then this one is 15% drop, right? You can go from 4,600 all the way down to 4,100, right? Which is almost like, and further, that's the thing, is it could go further potentially. So if I had to sit there and go, where's the slip and slide all the way down? How far can one go over the other? I'm honestly looking at gold that has the bigger bang for the buck for long term for this week. Now, will it sell off? I don't know. Will they allow it to? Well, if everything starts to happen really well in Iran, right? Then if Iran. Right, exactly. We know, whether you want to believe Trump or not, we really have bombed the malarkey out of them, and a lot of their senior officials are just decimated, right? And they're trying to hold on, and I think they're doing a great job keeping a stoic face on the circumstances that they're in, from where they're at.
That's a very nice way of putting it. The circumstances they are in. There's a whole class of people that if they just pick up a telephone, a JDAM rains down on them. It's Pedro, you can't figure out why they just don't be like, unless they're the ones front running the market and making a ton of cash, even though their country's exploding. Maybe they have a secret way of communicating with their uncle in Toronto, that all of a sudden, and then random Iranian guy is making $10 million a day in the crude oil market. Wonder how he knew that.
That's funny.
We've in the literal sense of the word that you just used, decimated. We've reduced the effectiveness of their economy by to 10%. We've reduced their leadership roles to 10% of what they were. Their missile system still 10%, but just enough that they have some that they can launch into the Strait of Hormuz to drive everyone crazy. And keep this muckery going here. I should say muckery. I should say volatility. If peace breaks out and all of a sudden everyone's happy, the price of crude oil comes rocketing down.
Yeah.
The flight to safety won't be there. The gold will go down. The price of the dollar will go up. All the other currencies will suck again as they're supposed to, and everything will be, 2025 all over again. Whenever it was Trump got elected, 24. No, after he said the tariff stuff, when it just started going crazy. And we should see that, but your 15% in gold potential movement versus a potential 10% in gold in Bitcoin is a significant difference. That's a lot of money on a leveraged contract.
Right, and that's what I'm saying is I would bet more. Honestly, I really see I think I see good things happening for America with what is happening in Iran, right? If we come in, we work with them, say, look, we're cool with you, but you need to change. You need to do more of a pro-democracy perspective in your nation, which I see more actually happening with how Trump is doing things, right? And so I think that would then put less pressure on gold going up, which means that this is why you're seeing the sell-off on the weekly chart. They know it's going to happen. They're already putting in positions for it to come down to these lower levels, right? Because look at the 8-period moving average. Look at it. It's this purple. We've had the weekly crossover, and so this is communicating that it wants to continue down. And so that's why I would play more here, because when I look at, and this is again for you, Tom, right? Wicks, slip and slides, right?
Yeah.
Moving averages, lower highs, lower lows, right? This is a hard thing to do, Like you can't over a couple of weeks. And so if they're playing these positions for a couple of weeks, right? And you can see here that you have higher volume coming in on the weekly charts for it to come down. And so this is where it's like, I think they were definitely taking out positions here. You can see that right there, boom. Where they're bringing it down, more volume, boom. It tried to push up, less volume, boom. Now we're starting to continue down again. We have more volume. Today's Tuesday, and you can see already we're almost probably 40%, 50% of the move for gold to be, if not
In the
equal
weekly
or
volume
higher.
total.
Yeah, in the weekly, yeah. And so you nailed it. Thank you. Sometimes I have a hard time saying that. So it's just really important to be able to see what's actually happening there. Ultimately, I think crypto, right? If I'm going to think long term for BTC, you know what it's like? It's like if you like a girl. This is actually a really good important thing. Like, let's say you like a girl, right? And you want to, like, you're not thinking like dating, you're thinking marriage, like long-term marriage.
Ooh.
Right? And you're watching her, and because you want to make sure that you don't want to come in and stir her heart up and get her all excited again.
No, that was good. That was excelente.
Excellent. I feel like I'm trying to use as least amount of words as on my water machine. I was fixing some stuff on it.
Oh,
And on the electricity, like you think, oh, I've got this awesome well that'll protect me. No, that pulls water up with like.
yeah,